Yeah, I'm in the office now. Looks like John's in an office too.
I am overtime today.
There you go. Nice.
I think I'm at about 46 hours already.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I went woke up early, worked out, and then was like, I might as well just go to the office. I got some stuff to do out here. So I started the day early. Now that the kids are back in school, I can get more work done now.
More sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of.
Or you can go back and go take a nap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's Friday. I like to try to stay busy and finish the week off. It's like payroll day for everybody, and yeah.
Your dread.
What's that?
Said your dread.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what's going on? Anything new, Mr. Jim, with your projects?
Still working on them. Everything's getting kind of moved around, lumped into one big project because I have so much going on. So big learning lesson, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You're on the other side, kind of like both sides, just like waiting for it to move to the next
Well,
stage.
it's not that as much as just so much work going on because I have 7 other projects going besides my burgers. So it's kind of trying to meld and schedule everything together. That's the challenge. And having lack of labor right now because I have 2 guys out.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just brutal.
That's what, 9 jobs and you got 2 guys out? That's a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah, by the end of the year, I have to finish my 3 burgers. I have 2 kitchens. I have 5 bathrooms.
Might be time to start being hands off on those burgers, Mr. Jim.
No, in California, you can't do that. It's too freaking expensive. I've already tried to. I just had a bathroom demo, 2-day demo, $3,100.
For a bathroom?
Yeah, just to demo a master bathroom. Now, there was a lot of tile, wainscoting, everything else, but 2 days. And that wasn't even the whole demo. We still had to do some of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. California's nuts. Drywall for that master bath was $4,100 bid. Yeah, they're 30-40% more than I'm bidding. So not only do my prices have to skyrocket up, yeah, it's just I can't do what I wanted to do. I was going to bring some of the subs that I know in, but I can't afford.
Yeah, that is a lot. Yeah, $7,000. You haven't really even done anything to the bathroom.
Exactly. Yep.
Wow.
Dang.
Mr. John, I don't think we've met before. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I was here last week, but I was kind of quiet, at least in this one. I'm you know what I mean. So I'm down in Gainesville, Florida, and I'm in a house that was bought with the intention of doing an ADU split because it's already 3/4 there. But I'm going to rent it and move into an apartment here soon. Finally made that decision. About 4 years from now, I'll probably move to Washington State, and I'll probably be an out-of-state investor investing back here in Gainesville.
Okay.
Because as much as the cash flow is really not good here, it's notably better than Washington.
Gainesville, is that Florida Gators? Is that Gainesville?
It is. It is. Go Gators.
Yeah. Okay. Is that where's that by? Gainesville? Like what big city or bigger?
It's west of Daytona, a little southwest of Jacksonville, and we are almost in the middle of the state. So we're like 60 miles from either coast.
Okay. And you'd like to stay investing there, but move to Washington then?
Yeah.
Why Washington?
Because my daughter moved there a month ago, and if I want to be in retirement and or be able to hang out with her and stuff, that's how that works.
Yeah. Washington. Nice. Well, congratulations on the move. That's a big jump across country, right?
Well, yeah, that's like 4 years from now, but it's yeah, I got to finish out. I got to finish out here so I can do the conversion of the pension. And then I'll work in Washington for a couple of years. So
nice.
What school is she going to in Washington, John?
She's done with school. She's actually working for a startup that is They teach the AI to some extent in language modeling because she's a computational linguist.
Mm-hmm. So is she working in Seattle or?
No, she's remote work.
Hmm.
So yeah, she was in Indiana and she wanted to get out of Indiana because it wasn't cold enough. And yeah, I know. And they were fine with her moving. And if she ever has to go to a meeting, she just flies down to I think San Francisco.
Okay.
So
Nice.
Was
What
Indiana
parts of
not
Washington are you
cold
looking at?
enough?
Yeah, I thought it was freezing over there.
Yeah.
no, in the summer it actually gets kind of warm, to be honest.
Hmm.
It tracks about 10 degrees cooler than here in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have like the cooler overnight, which is nice. Whereas like I walk out in the morning and it's already 76 degrees and 80% humidity at 6 in the morning.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's like walking into a wall. And then you're
Yeah.
like, so it gets hotter from here.
I got a
Yeah.
buddy that lives in Keystone Heights,
Oh yeah, very familiar.
right
That's where
down
my
the road
concrete
from
guy
you.
is.
Nice.
Mr. Fears, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How's everybody?
Great.
Good.
That property you sent me, I actually inquired about it, and they already had 3 sight unseen offers, and they've got a huge amount of people at the showing today, so that's going to be a highly competitive one.
Okay. All right. That's cool.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a hot area.
Yeah. Okay. I was just shooting it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I figured it would be something. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. But hey, we'll just keep looking, right?
There you go.
Yep.
How's
Yep.
your
Yep.
rehab going, Val?
Great. It's going great. Things happen, but hey, it's one of those deals. So my guy, he texts, it's like I hadn't heard from him, and I can generally see him. I'm standing outside on my break here, so don't pay me no mind. But my guy, normally I see him pop up on the camera, and I didn't see him for a day or two. That's generally not like him. So I called him. I was like, hey man, you know what's going on? And he's like, oh, it ain't good. He had an accident. So hurt his neck, got 10 stitches. But hey, he called me this morning and said he gonna be there tomorrow. So I said, sweet.
Back on track.
Yes, back on track. Yeah, because I had my other guy and his son, he showed up yesterday. So they did a little bit because I didn't know how long he was going to be down. So, hey, no complaints. It's almost like, you think things is bad, but hey, man, things just work out and they keep chugging them right along. So, man, I ain't got no complaints. You hear me?
There you go.
Yep. How was your ADU coming along?
We're calling for the last inspection. We were just talking about it earlier.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Okay. Because did you get on yesterday with Thatch? I know it. I keep running off at the mouth. Y'all got other people up here.
I wasn't able to go to Touch. Was it a good live?
Yes, it was smoking. Yeah, it was smoking. And that's exactly what he was talking about, them ADUs. And so Zuber should put it back up there for a replay. But if you do get to see it, because he was hitting all over that. So I was like, hey, anybody in that ADU game, he's like, that's where it's at. So I say, man, that's all right. So but it also made me think about you because I know you close to being done and all of that. So because he was just basically talking about different jurisdictions, and has a couple of people was asking about certain jurisdictions and this area, that area, and just things that people could do to try to make sure hey they can get these ADUs built or on their property. So yeah, it was a lot of good information. Matter of fact, had me googling in Greensboro, North Carolina, if I can make something happen. But it's definitely especially if you getting the word up now that hey this thing is gonna be hot later on. Or it's coming in the but see y'all on the West Coast already, so y'all already know about that. See, I'm on the East Coast. See, a lot you got a few of them, but hey, I'm almost like shoot. If this here is the fast track, then it's like, hey, why not?
Yeah,
yep.
It's I'm really impressed how Lindsay was able to make it work and pencil out. We have in my neighborhood, there's probably about 5 in my area, but a lot of them who I've talked to, it's just for their mother-in-law or somebody or their mom. They're not doing it for an investment. They just wanted to give them something to live in because there's enough room on their lot. But it's impressive how Lindsay was able to build it, pencil it out, and still make it work financially, and cash flow.
Well, we're still waiting, right?
Yeah,
Part of
true.
that. Yeah, that is no, but in my area, for example, there's a lot of houses that have multiple ADUs. So like right down the street from my house, like 2 blocks away, there's a house on sale right now for $2 million because they did a whole nother back house. And as an ADU, it was a garage. They did a garage addition. Like, I don't know if they split the lot. They're selling both houses for $2 million. So it's like a 2-story house on the back of like the main front house, which was completely flipped. So houses for $2 million. Yeah.
I do see people having trouble selling properties with ADUs. If they're splittable, that's one thing, but they're having trouble selling them if they're 2 units.
Yeah, with rates now, it's still hard to even pencil it out, right? Like if you went and bought in 20% down, whatever, like it's still really hard to make money on that with the rents being where they are. And
yeah, but once you put an ADU on, unless you're keeping it for a long time, you're limiting yourself for sale. That's either going to be a multi-generational family or it's going to be an investor.
Yeah.
So if you have any idea of not keeping that property, think twice about doing an ADU on it.
I would think it would work if they split it.
Yeah, if they split it, but you have to go through that process.
I mean, they bought that house for $700K, so they could split it. As far as I can tell, even if the additional house costed $300,000 to build.
But splitting's not easy because a lot of jurisdictions you have to have your power separated, your water separated, your sewer separated.
Yeah.
So that's a 20,000,
I think if
30,000.
you figure out how to do all that and get it down pretty well, I think you can do very well. Because when it comes to appraisal, though, like if it's not a separated ADU, it's only valued at 50% of the square footage of the primary.
Yep.
Then on top of that, if it's a harder sell, because how many people really want to buy a house, that has an ADU on it? You're limiting your pool of people, but at the same time, like, are you gonna have to take a haircut as well just to get it to sell? But I don't know. I think realistically, we're going into that period of time where it's like, we're all where our parents are baby boomers. Like, how many baby boomers are out there that are going to end up having to live with their children? There's a lot. So I think there's an opportunity there to where there's a lot of people who are going to potentially be seeking out properties that have mother-in-law suites already on it. And what better way could you have it, especially if it's like a dadu, like having that separation from your father-in-law, mother-in-law, whatever, where there's that space, even if it's 500 feet away, 100 feet away, 60 feet, 25 feet away, you still have that separation. It's not like they're downstairs, upstairs, or whatever. Hopefully, I think a lot of people are going to want that versus them, living in the room down the hall. It just makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, my point is you just got to plan on that ADU build. You got the one first property, I can easily split that because it already has separation of everything, but the county won't allow it yet. But in a few years they will, so I'll get that split, and that'll increase the value of each house almost 100. And then the second property is 1 acre, so I'll plan the ADU totally to be able to split it. That's my whole point, is get everything ready for that future.
From a sale perspective, isn't the house with an ADU basically just as attractive to an investor as a duplex?
An investor, yes, but now you're limiting your pool because the investors are a smaller percentage of the pool.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to sell it, flip it, sell it, whatever you're trying to do with it, go into the general public, it is not as popular. And they're having a harder time appraising them. There's no real set thing for appraising the houses with the ADUs.
Do you think that'll work itself out in 5-7 years?
I'm sorry?
Do you think that'll work itself out in 5 or 7 years once there's enough of them?
It's going to take some time and it will work itself out for sure.
Around us in my area, there's a lot of comps to like appraise because every other house here has an ADU.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's the issue, is especially up here in Sacramento. There are ADUs, but nowhere near as much as there are and I don't know what the rest of the country is. 'Cause it's mostly the West Coast,
It's
right?
the West Coast,
ADU?
yeah.
Yeah.
High rents, yeah. It's
Yeah.
gonna be in our areas.
High cost of living, meaning
Yeah.
Yes,
you will
yeah.
have more.
Yeah.
All the people that
how's
don't want to go to cold.
huh?
All the people that don't want to go to cold areas.
Seattle's
you
not cheap
guys-
either on that.
You also got to think of affordability. That's like my area's issue. Like in Northwest Washington or just the Washington area, Western Washington specifically, it's really affordability because like Pierce or King County, which is basically Seattle itself, like the median home value is $1 million. And when I say $1 million, it doesn't mean that it's a nice home.
Yeah.
It could be a 1,600-foot home that's really depressed. There's a lot of deferred maintenance on it. Still, it's $1 million. So you got to think of that affordability. It takes two incomes, substantial incomes, to be able to questionably afford that. And so that's the biggest issue right now, is there's not enough homes and not enough that are affordable.
Mm.
So the ADUs is going to be a big deal, and that's why Thatch is jumping all over it, because he realizes that it's going to take 2 decades to fix this problem in our area, even with the amount of people that are leaving the Seattle area to go to more affordable places. It's still the population growth still surpasses the exodus. So, it really boils down to just affordability. And so building these places is going to make it to where you're going to lower the entry point and add more homes to where there's more houses on inventory, to where it'll slow the growth of the housing prices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, it's definitely interesting, investing method if it works, in your area. I'd love to see it work its way over towards like the South, Midwest, and see if it works over there as well too. I don't know what the ADU would even rent for in like our lower income areas that we're investing in, or if it even pencil out.
Well, the biggest thing is the cost of building is a lot less there because you don't have this. I mean, just the stupid panels are because you don't have ArcVault. Yeah, that's just huge.
Well, how's everything else going with everybody? Any new updates, wins, losses, anything like that?
I know Quinn closed his triplex in New York, right?
Yeah, guys, closed my first deal this week, so here we go.
Congratulations.
Welcome to the rat race.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward for my first, leak or tenant decides they can't pay or whatever. It's bound to happen in the first month or two, right?
Yeah. Was it fully occupied?
Yeah, the first one's fully occupied. And two of the tenants are basically month to month at this point. One's still got a few months to remain on a lease. I do know that one of the tenants was on some sort of stipulation, so they had gotten behind on rent. So that's like the variables are just like tenants, how quickly do my taxes get jacked up, and then we'll see what the actual operating expense of this thing looks like. It's gonna have some near-term work. We got to replace a heater pretty quickly because it's 30 years old at this point, and I don't want that blowing out in Buffalo, New York in a blizzard. That feels like a both a legal and a moral question. And
yeah.
The home I bought will require a new roof, but that's just, dollars and cents you plug into the model, I would think. So we'll see, but it's exciting.
That's huge. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
It's going to snowball into many more now.
Are you self-managing there?
I have a property manager, and so I chose Buffalo because my grandparents live in Buffalo, my uncle's in Buffalo, my mom's from Buffalo. I know the city a bit, but I also have a personal relationship with someone who has built a brokerage and property management company. So that's like just a very natural, like all the stars have aligned to choose Buffalo for real estate investment. Like the only other city I have huge ties to would be Atlanta, which is hard to find cash flow unless you're doing like distressed rehabs, flips, things like that. So yeah, I have a property manager, and it's interesting with them because they have like an in-house construction team. So like it's like a full service like brokerage, construction, leasing. So well, it could
One-stop shop.
yeah, it could prove pretty handy so long as that they can perform adequately in all those various functions.
Mm-hmm. If you don't mind, it's fine. Do you mind sharing the numbers on that triplex?
Yeah, sure. So we paid 305 for it. And it rents currently for 3,800 plus like some pet fees of like $75 a month for people's dogs, which I didn't know was a thing.
Yeah.
Which is nice because that was like a little extra $1,000 of cash flow per annum we found there. Yeah, like it's probably like a 6.5, 7% cap rate. It's a little tighter than what we were in love with. Me and I'm 50% owner with a partner on this.
Okay.
But it's like a very solid property. Like it's got a driveway when no, like few other houses on the street have a driveway. It's very well kept on the inside, has tenants that have been there a while. And you know, I describe it as like a class C plus neighborhood, maybe. I always find B and C a little bit harder to distinguish because A is very easy to determine and D is very easy to determine. B and C blend together a little bit, but Buffalo on the whole is pretty working class, like blue collar, and it's definitely that kind of neighborhood.
Is the neighborhood like a bunch of multifamily, or is it just one just stuck in a single family area?
Buffalo has, so this one's a triplex, but Buffalo has a ton of 3-3 doubles, often like an upper lower, 3 bedrooms upstairs, 3 bedrooms downstairs, and then also a lot of like 2-2 doubles. So Buffalo has lots of doubles, but also some triplexes and quads. So that's another thing I like is that it's affordable from an overall dollar perspective, and the purchase price to rent ratio is pretty good, and there's a lot of multifamily housing available. So that's kind of Buffalo in a nutshell.
Nice. Oh yeah, congratulations.
Thanks.
I had slight win this week. My private money guy that I use in Alabama called me randomly on Monday and just was like, hey, I got this house under contract. I got too many projects going on. Do you want it? And within, I think, probably 10 minutes of us talking, he sent me a bunch of pictures. He FaceTimed me at the property. I was like, yeah, let's just do it. And it's actually the street parallel with the one that I'm rehabbing now. So I know the area, I know the numbers, the comps. So we ended up going into contract with that. He offered to finance. I didn't go with him, but he offered to finance it and all the same stuff that we've been doing before. But so picking up another Burr project. And then also I have a vacancy that we're actually hoping to fill to receive the deposit today on one I have a partner with on. And I had a lady reach out and we told her about it. She's like, okay, that's a little small for me. And I told her I had a couple others coming up early September. And she's like, cool, can you send me the info? Those aren't done. We're still rehabbing them. But she ended up walking it with my contractor while they were there, loved it, and actually sent the deposit today. So I have a tenant ready to go for one property before it's even done. And then her friend calls and she goes, hey, I hear you have a couple available coming early September. So I had her apply and went through her everything, called, did all my due diligence, and now she's paying her deposit today too. So 2 of my 3 burrs, I'll have tenants ready to go before they're even done. So
you said little win?
Yeah, I guess that's it's been one of those weeks for me. It's been a really, really rough week. But I guess that is a pretty good one.
A lot better than a fire in the garage, huh?
Yeah, way better than that. Yeah, so much better than that. Yeah, so that's
You
good.
got another house
That's a little win.
connection.
What's that?
No, nice. So you have another house just from having that connection with that person with the
Yeah,
private
no
money lender.
marketing, no, didn't have to talk to anybody. He called me with it, and over a FaceTime call, ended up just doing it. So, I was gonna bundle a bunch of birds or cash out refinances together. This kind of delays it, but I don't know. I'm gonna figure all that out once I get close on this one into this month.
How hard are your flips right now?
I got one in contract. I close on the 25th, 23rd, whatever next week is. That one, it's such a buyer's market. I had to give in, do so much just because it was my only offer, and I didn't want to go back on market. My one that caught on fire, that one is still sitting. We lowered the price a little bit. We got a little bit of action and some private showings, but still waiting on an offer on that. My big one, the Woodland one, will be going on market early, not next week, but the week after, probably early that week. And then I got another one we're finishing up in a couple weeks, or two more that we're finishing up in a couple weeks. So it's not fun flipping right now in here. Like nobody's really buying, but rates just dropped. So I'm hoping to get a couple more buyers looking. But
You
yeah,
putting a
definitely.
hold on any kind of flip plans right now?
I'm not buying any more flips right
Yeah.
now, because winter's coming, and I don't want to sell in Thanksgiving and Christmas. I don't want to have a
Right.
house on market, so I'm probably gonna, unless it's a deal I can't refuse that comes to me. I'm not out seeking. I've actually said no to a couple that were sent to me just because the margins are too tight and things are sitting right now. So yeah, I'm probably not going to pick any more flips up for the rest of the year. Probably.
See, that's what it's costing a little bit more money the way I'm ending up doing this, but I'm learning so much because now, like you just said, going into winter, I'll do remodels this time of year. I won't finish any kind of flips or burrs. Well, actually, I'll keep one burr going because that's fill-in work in my
Correct.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll keep one, maybe two going, depending on the cost, and then use that this time of year all for remodels.
Yep. Probably what we're
I
gonna
wouldn't
do.
have known that unless I would have had these projects going.
Yes. Yeah. And I'll still always burr. I just won't flip right now or
Right.
during this time. I'll still, the burrs go off comp, so I'll still
Right.
do that. But I'm just gonna. It's hard right now, and it's there's so many houses for sale right now, and there's so much competition, and it's a buyer's market, and they can get whatever they want. Like I'm not like you. I'll run my numbers, and okay, I'm making this on the end, and then I get there, and they're like, well, I want this done, and it's just like, okay, there goes a little bit of my spread, and it's like, do I go back on market and pay my private money guy another, round of interest plus who knows what they're going to ask the next buyers on the back end? Who knows what they're going to ask for? So it's hard. It's not the days where you're fighting with 10 offers and 20K over asking. Those are gone as of now. So.
That's one thing I'm seeing is it's a catch-22. You want to get the best deal you can on your front end, but then you can't get it both ways.
Yep. Yeah. So
how much of a haircut have you already taken?
On this one in particular that we're closing on next week, the appraisal came in 7,000 lower. Of course, because appraisers are the worst.
I know.
So it came in 7K lower. FHA buyer, so I had to fix a minor little things. There was a sewage, some roots in the sewage. That was 2,500. I gave a seller credit of 3,000, so I'm probably down another 15 from that. Probably like 12 from that price. So I'll probably make 20 something on this one, to be honest, on that deal. But it's gone.
After real estate transactions or before?
That's my number coming to me. I'll probably make about 20 something on it. When was budgeting to make about 45, 50. We went a little over on rehab. Rehab took a little long. Like just so much stuff happened with this house. I just want it gone.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not losing any money. It's just not the number I was expecting.
Now, do you budget in anything for time, or are you just taking
100%.
at the end?
15% usually around there, contingencies for delays, for permits, for unexpected issues. I try to, but for some reason,
I'm talking about your time management. Do you build in anything for that? Because this project work.
I do. You can't predict the market, right? So I do.
Right.
I do try to, but I had a good sit down with one of my crews and told him like, hey, if you want to stay busy, we got to work on your time frame. So now he's working on 2 of my houses, his crews, and they are killing it. Like he's on it. We'll probably be done in the house in a month, 6 weeks, which is like crazy for a 1,500 square foot house. He'll be done in like 6 weeks. He's working 6 days a week. Like he really wants to do this. So that was one thing, because he took almost 3 months on this house I'm selling now, and like that's unacceptable. You can't be in his house for 3 months. It's 1,400 square feet. Shouldn't be that long. So,
and that's just like cosmetic. That's not a down to stud, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. It was just there was delays and then issues, and he had family issues, which I'll never knock that, but things popped up.
Yeah.
So I do put that in my numbers of holding costs, time, delays, things like that.
See, because I hear a lot of people saying sweat equity, and they're doing it themselves and doing sweat equity. But if you don't value your time in that, that I don't understand that. Why?
Yeah, there's a guy here in our market he's been doing it the longest, I would say, here, and he's probably the biggest name in my immediate area. But him and his wife are realtors. He also does a lot of the work himself. So yes, he's doing a lot of deals, but he outbids us like crazy because he doesn't factor in his closing cost, his commissions, or his time. So he'll make 10K on it, but
he's not making 10K.
He's not making exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
exactly. So that's why he's like, he'll outbid everybody. And it's like, I'm not working on these houses. I'm also not a realtor, so I have to make a spread for everybody in this. That's why my number is where it is. He's coming in, who knows, 15, 20K higher, and he's able to do that. Or I don't know, whatever, but that's how he's getting a lot of these deals, that he's just outbidding all of us like crazy. And it's
but in the end, he's not going to be around the longest.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
it can't. It's not sustainable.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to figure out right now, is with everything I'm doing, is what is sustainable. Where I need, what holes I need to fill. That's what this whole year was, discovery.
Yeah, that's huge. That's actually, I'm still in that process of where could I get better? What do I lack in? What am I good at? All that. What do I want to hire out for? And
because even when I go out of state, this whole year for starting is going to set me up on what I'm going to do out of state. Am I going to try to sub out? Am I going to try to hire, build up my own crew and employees, that type of thing?
Yeah,
and basically start my own rehab construction company just for my projects, which is what I'm leaning towards.
Yeah,
I can manage it remote and just have a project manager. I'm definitely looking at Pittsburgh. I'm Gary's. Pittsburgh's going to start for sure. And then I'll switch on to Gary maybe later down a couple years down the road, depending on where I'm at.
Why Pittsburgh?
Honestly, boots on ground. There's so many investors there, so many people that they know and everything else, and like Jack Stewart's there. There's boots on ground. That's my whole focus of it, and I can do work on my own property. Outside of Pittsburgh, I can do whatever I want on my own house. HVAC, electrical, whatever. I can do it all myself because it's my house.
Yeah.
But most jurisdictions don't allow that.
Nice. So what, besides boots on the ground, what about the market have you seen that you liked?
It's a good entry level, so it's a good starting point. It could change. I can get into 2 or 3 of them, but I'm in at a low cost of entry. So it's a good trial run to see if I can get in, cash flow it, or else I just turn them. That's the main thing, is I can get in, I can start it quickly. And it's the numbers are penciled out roughly a 30% return on the rehab, and then 8% roughly a return on rent. So yeah, that's because I've done comps on like 30 different properties just to see if they work. Now, obviously, you got to go through the actual process to make sure they work. But that's why I'm looking at Pittsburgh. And so the areas I'm looking at are really close to the airport. They're really close to Home Depot, Lowe's, any of the material suppliers and stuff like that. If I go out there, I'm going to live in the property, so I'll get 2 of the bedrooms done right away, and then that's what we did up here too. I bought a couple beds and stuff like that, so my guys can actually stay there. Here, I stay in my trailer, but they live in the rooms. So
let me ask this, Mr. Jim: if you go out of state and start investing, why why are you investing out of state? Is it for the cash flows, for the freedom? Is it for why are you doing
Cash flow, freedom, and it's too expensive in California. I can find some properties here.
Mhm.
So
let me-
I will have it, huh?
So then why, if you want the cash flow and the freedom, why work on your own property? I know you want to do it right? But
Yes.
why?
I won't necessarily. I'm looking for numbers first. I will get bids and everything 1st.
Mhm.
But I will definitely go out before inspections.
So then what is if you get bids and whatever, 25 grand to redo this house, just, throwing it out.
I'm subbing it all out.
It would cost you 15. What is your time worth at that point?
Exactly.
No,
I'm right there with you. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's it, because that's what I was talking about, relationship and boots on ground. All those people already have people they're using. But my concern too is like you were talking about timeframes.
Yes.
I can't wait 3 months.
Yeah.
That's more of my concern. So if I get a contractor in there and he's doing what's happening with some of these other projects and it's taking too long, I'm flying out, getting it done, getting it back to a certain point. That I want that ability to be able to do that. I don't want to do that, but I want the ability to.
For sure. No, I respect that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can do everything faster than most people for what I do, but that's not where my time is best spent. I agree with you on that.
And you said you had 9 jobs going on. Like, that's a lot at home, right? Huge amount. So imagine taking on 2, 3 more,
Well, no, by that time I'm going to scale it down.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I'm not doing yes.
But honestly, you might enjoy flying to a new property, working on it, and that could be like fun for you.
Exactly.
Go to the next one, go to the next one. Like, that is my freedom. I don't have to work in California or bid jobs there. I could just fly to my houses and eat something new, travel place. Like, it could be cool.
Yeah. So if I can figure out on the refi, where that's why I was asking you if you're making money for your time, that's what I'm looking for. Is my money's going to come out of the refi. Hopefully, I can get a certain amount, not full hourly, but something that's going to pay for my time and pay for my personal bills. Correct. If I can figure that out, I switch gears completely to real estate.
Yeah.
And get out of dealing with customers. Because then I can completely control my timeline, not with dealing with customers and their timelines. That's what I'm overall looking for.
Yeah. That's huge. I like that.
Yeah. It's a seriously long process. Everyone says the first 5 years suck. First year sucks. It's horrible.
Yeah. Nice. Lindsay, you have anything?
Like you, there was a seller that I purchased through seller finance deal before. So he's offering another house to me. So without even me asking him, do you have another house?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to see that house. I think the tenants are moving out. But I don't know exactly when, so I might be able to see it in person when I go in September. So that would be good. It's a brick house.
Is he offering to seller finance it too, or he's just saying to have this available? Oh.
Yes. So I guess he's been happy with all the payments I've been making.
Yeah.
On time payments, anyways. But yeah, so it's a brick house, so I love brick houses. They appraise well over there. So we'll see.
Is it by the one you already have?
He offered me 2 houses actually, and one of them is in the area that I invest. The other one is not. So the other one I said no, because it's not on my buy box, and it's closer to the apocalyptic site of Gary, where like all the abandoned companies, factories were. So I said no. I will take a look at it when I go if I can, but I said no for that one. And it's also,
is he just getting rid of his portfolio, or?
I think so. I think he's I don't know if I can say what he does, but because he's in my community thing. But yeah, I think so. I think he's moving to a different market.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good opportunity if you're the first call, and he's willing to sell or finance.
I said to him, like, anything else you have in these?
Yeah. Is he like a long time, like owned him forever and paid him off?
Yeah, like cash? 10 years plus. Yeah. He purchased them for like maybe 30,000 probably.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. That's the way. And is he seller finance for a long time on these, or is it just kind of a short balloon?
15-year balloon for them. So that's pretty good. Amortized for 30 years for Team Balloon. This is
What
what
kind of
we
rate?
had in the past, but I don't know if like this is what he would want now.
Yeah, it may need
But I was just like, yes,
Mhm.
we'll figure out the terms later.
Yeah.
What kind of rate are they looking at? Do you know?
The rate that I locked up with him last year was 6%, so it's pretty good right now. Honestly, even if it's 7%, like he looked for 10% down payment, so still better than anything that I can get via normally.
Yeah, seller finance it's just the best. If it works out for the seller, right? Like it's just the best method. I love it. It's just hard to pitch. A lot of people don't understand it. They don't like it. They don't want to be. They think they're still tied to the property, and you own. You know, it's just it takes that teaching, right, to sellers doing it. But it's just the best way.
Are you using an attorney for that transaction? How are you doing that?
So the company that I use is Indiana Title Network, which is they have a lot of creative finance deals, which they have their contracts drawn up by an attorney. And so the attorney talks to both of us and we go back and forth if we need to make changes for that contract. Which like the contract is like 3 pages. I don't know.
It seems like a lot of the stuff you're finding is off market.
Yes.
Yeah, it's coming to you now.
Yes. Well, I haven't bought it yet, but
right, but still the opportunity is coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the same with mine. I think mine was 3 pages as well. He wrote on just wrote the terms on the purchase agreement, and the lawyer at the attorney at the title company reviewed it. Same thing.
Yeah, I think I've talked about it. The first time that I did it, it was intimidating because you're like, oh, I don't know what is happening. This is not like a normal transaction. There's like no 300 pages that I'm looking at. Like when I'm seeing, it's actually just like 3 to 4 pages that you're looking at. But it's actually simpler than you think, especially when they own it outright. When they do have a mortgage or they have something else in the property, then it's more difficult. But when they own it outright, it's super simple. Like, buyer, seller, title goes to you at terms, and then sign here, like late policies or whatever if you want anything foreclosure, taxes, insurance kind of thing. But that's it.
You still have one unit you have to rehab over there, right?
Yeah, we started last week, so hopefully it will be done by the time I'm there, so I can make videos, guys. But or close to be done when I go, so we can see that too.
Nice.
You should set up a couple of interviews while you're there too.
I know, right? I should. But I am going to go to a conference, so I'm going to be there the most of the day. Maybe I'll get some info or like people that want to talk to me. But nobody knows me there, so it's going to be a lot of introducing myself too.
You got to make them know you.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Are you going to, Jim? Are you going to the Pittsburgh event?
I can't. I have too much going on. I wanted to, but that's one thing. Over the last 3-4 days, I've gone through all of my calendar, all of my schedule, and it just doesn't make smart financial sense. I might go in December after I get most of this stuff tied up and wrapped up. But if I go out in December, it's going to be a plan on purchase because I'll have my first property refinanced, and then I'll be looking at if it's the right property, just get one and work on it over the winter. Yeah, because it's just I'm actually scheduling out all of these projects. They'll adjust obviously, but to make sure I can make sure the time works, because right now the time's not working, and I'm running out of money too. Really quick.
What are you using for scheduling?
I just use Excel. I make my own. I've done that for 30 years.
Okay.
So a lot of these other things are so freaking expensive. They're like $200 a month, and I don't want to spend that kind of money. And I'm so used to doing the Excel, just copy and paste. There are some good programs out there, but they're expensive. And I'm trying to do like everybody else says, keep your costs down. If it was a huge time savings, I would do that, but there's a big learning curve to a lot of those programs.
What do you use, Vincent? Bookkeeping?
Yeah, so I used REI Hub for a lot of it, but I now have a bookkeeper. So we meet pretty much like once a month. and go over any expenses that she has a question on. But yeah, it's just a bookkeeper that works with my CPA.
So how does that process work? You just send in all the receipts?
Yeah, so she has access to everything. So she does it all. So if she has a question, she'll call, email me, text, whatever. But she has every login, every loan login, every bank login, like everything I have, she has pretty much for the most part. So she'll go in and categorize, I don't know how often, but she'll go in and categorize herself and, put it to what property. Every job that they buy from pretty much contractors, or if I buy on Amazon, whatever, I put a job name on it. So she sees that, or just put the address on it. Loan payments, she knows, it says it in the bank transaction. But I still sometimes do the REI hub, and I just categorize some transactions that don't have anything. So she has access to the REI hub. So it's kind of the middleman between us both. But she'll just connect the dots from there. And that's been huge. Like I actually had a meeting yesterday, like a final wrap up of everything. And, like the way they have it explained for my rentals, the way they have it explained for my flips, like it's cool to see that, and it's done correctly. Every number to the cent is just perfect. And looking at the business from this perspective, I was terrible at this part of the business, like the ownership side, the bookkeeping, the taxes, all that stuff. But now seeing like, okay, I really spent this much on rehab, labor, supplies, whatever. Seeing it all outlined and lined up, and it's critical now, like to have her. And it's expensive, but it's so worth it right now.
See, I do recaps on everything.
Mm-hmm.
I have ongoings. I keep receipts all in Excel, and then so I know. I do about monthly because that's when I get my credit card statements. So I go back through and I put all that in, and just a list of them to know where I'm at roughly.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I do that with my construction projects too. Some of them I don't bother because I already know I'm over budget, so why look at it?
Yeah.
why put salt in the wound?
Yeah. See, and that I was doing a lot of it too. I just wasn't good at it, and that's not my thing. So I was like, okay, let's hire out. Let's figure out somebody who is good at it, who can do this. And I would say it's worth it 10 times because I don't want to do it, and I'm not good at it either. So.
Yeah, and that's one of my biggest things for the end of the year is get through all this stuff, and then we always get everything stabilized. Well, I need to stabilize business and everything else, find out where my best use of time is.
Yep.
And find out whether it's AI, whether it's virtual assistants, what can I release some of my time.
Mm-hmm.
But that takes time too, just in and of itself.
Yeah, that's like that's my night. I call it my night research. At nighttime when I can't sleep, I'll like learn that stuff or focus on that or train, whatever, that kind of stuff.
It's amazing how much goes into all of this.
Oh yeah. It's not just buy a house, put a render in there, and
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is definitely not passive.
Yeah. Could be worse though.
Yeah.
Unless you have a team that does it all for you.
Yeah, then you're paying for that team.
Yeah.
And now you're having a machine that you have to keep running. I've been through that. I've had 10 employees in the past, and that gets ugly too, real quick. Because now you're looking at workflow all the way through, and that's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And not always profitable.
Jim said it's not passive, but that's the famous words that everybody used, though.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you get it all stabilized and almost 70% to 80% paid off, and you're not acquiring anymore, that's when it becomes more passive.
Yes, correct. When you get to that hockey stick curve, that's when you start getting things a lot easier.
But I have to say I'm definitely enjoying the process for sure.
Oh, I am too. in these conversations here, they're the best part of it.
Yeah,
just talking to everybody's here and how everybody's doing, learning from everybody else. I love this part of it.
Yeah, me too.
Almost every call.
Yeah, I feel like this is where you get the most, plus being hands-on and then talking just to see that, like this contractors. What the contractors, you're gonna be in that tomorrow too, right, Jim?
Yep, on Mark's channel.
Yeah. So I'm gonna wear y'all out tomorrow because I have so many questions. But no, really though, these groups and then just be able to bounce stuff off of other people because that's my thing. I'm always constantly second guessing myself, and then it's just like, hey, what is everybody else doing that I could make this easier? And then once I hear what everybody else has to say, then it's just like, hey, don't invent the wheel. Just do what they're doing and make it, make it. Say, I take this window out of the bathroom, and he was like, "Yeah, take it out." So it wasn't even a second guessing. We took the window out and bricked it up, and so so just stuff like that. So it's not like I'm, trying to explode my brain trying to figure out what's the best, the best way to do it, but just bounce it off other people. So man, I definitely appreciate these interactions for sure.
Yeah, that's been probably my biggest challenge going into rentals is switching gears from the mid to high range products and time from my remodeling going to rental quality. That's the hardest challenge.
Yep. Yeah.
I ended up putting a sub panel in when I know I didn't need to. So I won't be doing that next time.
Yeah. I think that is a big deal because I see what like I said, I'm on Instagram, so I see what everybody else are doing. They rentals and so I'm trying to model that, but then I'm like, maybe I'm spending too much. I don't know, but I still have a basis of like, hey, put them back together where, if you don't need to go in for 20 years, something minor, of course, but for the most part, they can go in, they can stay for 20 years. Then I feel like, hey, that's something that I can definitely shoot for versus going in and, doing a little bit here, doing a little bit there. And then 6 months, you having to send somebody out there to do this, to do that, so that's kind of like where I try to model, especially if we can get in and clean them up, from the giddy up. So, but yeah.
Well, everybody, I have to hop off for a 9 o'clock call. Please feel free to continue on. I just have to hop off on a quick call.
Yeah.
Always, it's a pleasure talking to you guys. Have a great weekend, and we will be talking next week.
You know what? Yeah, have a good one.
All right, have a good weekend. All right.
So, Lindsay,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts of Gary in the future?
I
there's mixed messages going out. People are having trouble getting rentals. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of mixed messages, and what I see, okay, there's the original community formed by Maskey Finance, in which there is like a lot, there's some criticism going on that's saying that there's not a lot of renters right now. There's a lot of vacancies in Gary, right? Like it's only particularly to Gary, and then so there's like a lot of like low quality tenants turnover too. And what I'm seeing is like, because I listen to Super and I listen to all of you guys, like it's like basically what is happening around in every market right now. Even Jared, who posted a couple weeks ago that his vacancies have been lower and the quality of tenants are also lower. So I think that it's happening across the border, not particularly to the market. I have seen the prices come up in Gary significantly. So from when I started in 2022 to now 2025, entry point has grown. So entry point used to be like I could buy a $55,000 right off the MLS. That's like basically almost ready to turn like to live in. And now it's like that's not the case anymore. You tear down houses for $55,000 now they're like 100, right? So I'm like, okay, that's appreciation that's happened over the last 3 years, which is kind of like quick, right? Even though it's been 3 years, kind of quick for that to happen. And then I'm thinking like, well, from the criticism that I'm hearing back from people that have been there for 10 years, I'm like, you still were able to retire off the cash flow from Gary and purchase $1 million homes. So I'm thinking like it did found itself useful. Now that you've been on the market for a long time, now you're trying to pivot, which is great. Like I think investors over time, they end up pivoting to better investments, very bigger, larger investments. So if that's the case for you, then I think that's great. If you feel like you're getting a return of 10%, you can get return 19% somewhere else, then it makes sense to move out of the market, right? So, and we're all chasing the same thing, like less work for more money, right? We're chasing like to be more passive even in our retirement years. So not to say one person that maybe in 20 years I'll liquidate completely out of Gary and then move into just the S&P 500 because I'm just gonna get a 10% return for no work, basically, right? Who's to say that? So I don't know. I don't have all of the answers, but I know that I'm seeing it as I'm experiencing it. So I think their appreciation has happened. I think that even comping properties, they're comping higher. For me, it's good because I have them properties that are going to be comping higher over the course of whatever. Rents have grown, right? Since I started, rents have grown significantly. Now that the market, like the normal market in America, it seems like rents are stagnant and soften. I'm expecting that to follow in Gary. They're probably going to be stagnant soften for the next year. So that's my take.
Gotcha. Yeah, because the comping I've done in Gary is just it's not comping out. Not for a rehab. I'm
Mhm.
just not seeing it. And there's limit. I think that the like you're talking about the renter pool is mostly Section 8. I would say it's probably what 80% Section 8.
Right now, on when I was, I think at six property, it was 80%. Now it's like 50%.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So I'm
Yeah, so
surprised.
that's why I'm leaning towards Pittsburgh. Is there the it's easier to do it. There's the people there, and it's more diverse. You can go all around Pittsburgh, and you can get that either that C neighborhood, that B neighborhood, so you can find a lot more. So it's kind of spread out, the risks are spread out into different properties. That's
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
don't
looking
know
at.
where the vouchers are going, but I'm not getting a lot of vouchers applicants anymore.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder how Angelo's dinner went last night.
Oh, it was last night already?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was last night.
Oh, okay. You know, he told us last minute, like 2 weeks ago, he said Mike is coming and
Right. Well,
that's
I think that
I was
was
like,
probably
"Hmm."
a Mike's end too, though,
Yeah.
because his schedule's so up in the air. He probably decided to go out or something, and they just threw it in, worked around it. Because Mike's
Yeah.
oh
Yeah, I understand. But
yeah,
last year they had the same thing, but it was like months ahead that they let us know.
gotcha.
So I hope it went fine. I hope a lot of people showed up, but don't know.
Yeah, see, it's my whole thought process is get as low as I can for the next couple of years, get properties, get them turned, find out how they work, and if they don't work out, I sell those in a couple of years, and then 1031 I'm into something else. But I have a valuable property because it's been rehabbed, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to lose any money because I'll
Mm-hmm.
already have my money back by the time I get the rent tenants in there. So if I have to sell it, then I go in, do a quick little cleanup, and then I put it on the market, and then 1031 out to another property.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Lindsay, I had a question for you, but I got to do a delivery here real quick. So
Okay.
before you leave, I want to come back to it. It may take me like 10 minutes because I got to move a bunch of insulation to this
No
post
worries.
barn. Is regarding your ADU in terms of like the process of it, doing it again. So I'll come back to that when I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, biggest thing is when people talk about ADUs, be careful about California.
I know, right?
Way more requirements in California.
My state's not much different.
I know.
I don't. Do you have ArcVault there?
What is it called again? ArcFlow?
ArcVault breakers.
ArcFault breakers. I don't think I don't have to look into that, Jim. Let
Okay.
me chat that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. John, are you renting out your ADU?
So ultimately the pencil that I used versus the reality of being there for the 11th month, I can't really get the ADU to pencil anymore because it costs more than I had figured, and some of the help I was supposed to get I didn't get. So I'm actually going to rent the whole house
Oh, okay.
and move back to the complex I came from because I could move out of my house that's in the low 2000s for a mortgage to a rental that is $895. which means when someone else rents the house, I'm saving the differential.
Mm.
So at this point, the idea is to turn around and stay there long enough to get a quad, and then move from the quad, and then from there go from my property to my property to my property.
Mhm.
Longer term, especially maybe once I'm in Washington, then maybe I'll finish the ADU that's 3/4 of the way done, and build the DADU in the backyard, which is allowable. The city that I'm in is they passed an ordinance for the ADUs that's literally one sheet of paper, and it's anything that is single family or multifamily, small multifamily, can have an attached ADU and a detached ADU. So it's like 90% of all the parcels in the entire city. And they offer free plans for
That's good.
6 different, yeah. So it's they're definitely a lot more progressive in that regard, which is part of why I'd like to get a few more properties here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those free plans. My only concern with some of those free plans is there's a plan that I'm planning on doing that was way more cost effective than the plans that the building department already has. Once I get it engineered and designed, it's going to save me a crap ton of money over a long time.
So I absolutely agree with you, because I'm looking at the plans and I'm going to wind up redrawing them, kind of for fun, because I'm broken that way. But I can actually draw them in CAD. So I'm actually going to redraw them and fix parts of them, because there's parts of them there's stupid decisions. Like the door shouldn't swing right; it should swing left, and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Well, like a shed roof for a small house is the cheapest way you could go. Just put an LVL or the LVLs up there. That's the cheapest way to go.
And like in one of the plans that they have, I would do something like that, but then I would tip it a little higher.
Yeah.
And then put in some like story lights, but they would only be like 12 inches tall, like linearly across the top. So you get the feature and it looks fancy.
Yeah, we're talking about
but it's
the same
cheap.
thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's certain things you just shake your head.
Yeah.
But I figure I'll do some of those, and because in the meantime of trying to be patient while I wait to save up enough money to buy the next property, I need to be doing things within the community one way or another.
Yeah. Because once I get these ones done, I'm gonna start the process. I don't plan on building my ADU for a few years. I'm gonna wait until this buyer's market is gone, and utilize that. Once you start getting a bunch of competition and get multiple bids on a property, I'm out. I'm gonna start doing the ADU stuff. Because
it's a great pivot.
Yeah, when you have something else to do, why compete? So that's my ultimate plan. But I'm going to start working with Derek, ADU guy, and have him. I don't do drawings. I'm not doing that. In my design, I have designers I can work with, but they're more kitchen and bath designers. They're not going to do a whole house.
Oh.
So, and they're also a premium. They charge way too much.
How much do they charge?
Designers, $130, $150 an hour. The kitchen and bath designers.
Okay.
Way more than they should, in my opinion. Because we take, as a contractor, and I have a pet peeve with this whole thing. They're trying to sell cabinets. They're trying to do a markup on all the finished materials. And I'm sitting here taking all the risk. So if their measurements are off, I'm the one that has to double check them. I take all the liability for the work and everything else on their design. So why are they making so much money when they have zero risk whatsoever? Because right on their plans, it says all measurements to be field verified.
Yeah, I once upon a time I actually got to go against a architect's bond for a note that he had somewhat like that.
Yeah.
Contractor to ensure structural integrity of roofing system with foundation shall act as one entire unit. Something.
That's nuts. Yeah, that's nuts.
Oh, but wait, it gets more fun. It was a fire station.
Wow.
And we were just east of the coastal line. So it was an essential facility. So it was 185-mile-an-hour wind load.
And they actually let that get through the county?
City. Yeah, we did. We didn't see it. And then the contractor built the foundation. and then the contractor decided to change truss spacing.
Well, that's his fault.
Right. So
Yeah.
between the two, the truss spacing that he wound up with, and not having the former footer wall, triggered it to where they had to come up, and they did a ledger beam of like angle iron bolted through the poured solid concrete wall between the main bays and the living side to actually turn around and give the structural support it needed. It was crazy, and the whole thing was brick and block.
Wow.
So I still have a copy of $1,000 check because he had $1,000 deductible. So I've got a copy of his check.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think it was just
and that liability is what always worries me about doing the stuff on rentals and everything else. It's all about liability. That's why I want to take a lot of these older houses down to stud, because I'm worried about that liability. And now I know it's right. If I would have taken my first house down to stud, I would have been tearing it apart later, because there were so many bellies in the waste plumbing. It was ridiculous. Yeah, it was horrible. So that's the older houses, they got to go down to stud. I don't trust them.
You mentioned in Pittsburgh that you can pull the permit and do anything you want, so to speak.
On my house,
on your
as
house,
a builder, yeah. Well, because they don't have the same thing as California. The permits are a lot different.
Well, Florida owner builder has a catch-22 for us, for people like who are in the real estate side, is they are you can pull an owner builder permit for anything you want, except you can't rent any part of the house for 1 year after permit completion. Yeah, so you can't buy a house, pull an owner builder, remodel it, and then flip it.
Right. Yeah, every time somebody tells you that and you talk to them about it, something changes. But I'm going on that premise at this point. So, and the biggest thing is my codes here are way more stringent than they are there, and I'm building it into California code. And with the exception of ArcVault, if I don't have to put in ArcVault, I don't want to put in ArcVault because I hate them. Half the projects I've got to go to an existing house that we just did 6 months ago and change out 2 of the breakers. Because you run a vacuum cleaner, they trip. What's in a vacuum? It's a motor. What does a motor do? It arcs.
It arcs it arcs in a bigger way. A vacuum, at least.
Correct. And they say any kind of chop saw or whatever else, we plug anything like that in, they trip right away. Motors have arcs, so any motor-based thing. Now, the first generation of ArcVaults, oh my God, they were horrible. Everything tripped.
So does that mean you have to put like a hard start on the AC units and stuff?
Well, that's the other thing too. So they're requiring ArcVaults on those over circuit devices, but how many HVAC units actually utilize the neutral? They only have 2 hots in the ground. They don't utilize neutrals. So they're making us put an ArcVault in on something that's not even utilized.
California, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but there are other jurisdictions that have that too. So it is an NEC code. It's just the local jurisdictions decide whether they want to pick it up or not.
Oh,
but all of California does.
Huh.
So those breakers are not cheap.
Huh. I did want to mention, you and I conversed in one of the meetings last week about me doing building in Washington. And I did take to heart what you said. So, and it's helping shape it to be a little bit more realistic and manageable. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm learning every freaking minute on what I'm doing right now. So and once I get my channel going, because I'm waiting to build up a whole bunch of content, I'll have a lot of learning stuff on there.
Are you doing a lot of videos and not posting, or are you posting as well?
I don't have time. I'm not posting anything now because I don't have time. And when I go to start doing it, I want to commit to a certain amount of time. So I want to have enough backup video and everything I'm ready to go.
I'm with you.
Yeah. I was going to post about a month ago. I actually created an introduction video and everything else, but I'd rather have the content for the first house and everything else. And then I will probably post one thing before I leave in September. And I'll probably post the original one, and I'm going to do just a quick video of the whole transformation of the first house. Honestly, that's because that way I can start writing off half my trip going to Italy. Because I'm gonna do some content. I'm gonna do some content on houses in Italy, in Sicily, and in Naples. I'm gonna go look at a couple properties. Because eventually I want to buy a house in Italy. I love Italy. Just I absolutely love it. I could live there for 6 months, no problem.
Same.
Yeah. And there's a lot of opportunity in Italy. A ton.
Everybody should go at least once.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, well, some of us don't get out much, unfortunately.
Well, I've said it before. I work straight through, then I take a trip. So I'm going to Italy in September, then I don't have time off besides the holidays until I go to Bonaire in probably February.
Well, in my lifestyle right now, a big trip would be driving to Indiana, where my daughter no longer lives.
Gotcha.
Outside of that, I'm not sure. It's probably been about 6 or 8 weeks since I've been outside the county.
Hey, the first time I went to Italy, I was 22 years old. I just graduated from college. I was still making $12 an hour.
Oh.
I spent a total of $2,000. So it's possible.
Well, any young person, if I had stuff to do, that's one thing I would backpack everywhere
Yeah.
if I was younger. Yeah, that was one of the funnest things when we went to Egypt, and just having a backpack and not only having to deal with that. That's it. That was awesome. Italy's it's a pit, or not Italy. Egypt's a pit, but it was great to be there. You think smog's bad? Go there.
Oh, man.
Horrible.
Why?
The smog?
Yeah.
They have no requirements of anything in life.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, you see clouds out here, it's smog.
Is
Well,
that smog or
I'm gonna
marine
hop
air?
off. I'm sorry?
Is that smog or marine air?
Yeah. Oh no, and Egypt, it was smog. It was smog. It was horrible. My eyes were burning.
I've always wanted to go to Egypt so bad too.
Yeah.
What was your experience
Now,
like?
before you do that, call me.
Okay.
I'll definitely give you some hints. Do not do one of their stupid cruises. They're worthless.
No, I want. Well, yeah, that was something that was an option to go as an excursion on a cruise, but like I'd like to go there, be able to like fly there and do the sights, and then go to Morocco. But I've had a friend that I went to college with that she was from Egypt, and I've talked to her. Man, it's got to be about 6-7 years ago now. She says that was when Hamas and all that stuff was a real big issue. From what I can imagine from people I've talked to that have went to that region, they said it's still not a good time to really go there.
Yeah, my son's friend had lived has a house there, and he has a lot of family there. So we actually met up with them and went through the markets, and they
I
actually
hear the
bought all
markets
of our
are
little
awesome.
trinkets for us because he knew all the people there. So all that up priced, he got him down to, let's say it was like $300, he got him down to 30.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about, like, when you travel elsewhere, like a lot of people don't understand, like, and people get upset about it when you have like farmers market and stuff here where people start bartering. Like that's very, very, very common, outside of the US.
Yeah.
People actually like bartering for goods and stuff like that. It's there's there's a price that's the recommended price, but that's generally not a given.
Yep. Well, I am going to jump off because I have to get 3 jobs set up. I will talk to you guys all next week, or see you on one of the 2 calls over the weekend. Later.
I have a good one.
Better. Thanks.
Troy, you had a question before we jump off.
Yeah, if you can give me a second.
Yeah. So, John, are you moving into an apartment in the same city, Gainesville?
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna move back into the same complex I moved out of a year ago. It'll be interesting when I put in the application to see if they ask me the dynamics of that. But it's nice, it's clean. It doesn't have a washer dryer inside of it, but they have a laundromat.
Mhm.
A laundromat I've been using the entire time because I didn't want to pay for the washer and dryer when I was using it versus once it's a rental, I can write it off.
Mhm.
So it's 550 square feet, one bedroom,
Mm.
which is enough for me. I was gonna live in the ADU. That was part of the whole dynamic when I got it.
Mhm.
And I've lived in 400 square feet and it was fine with a couple of porches. The ADU is 320 square feet, and I tried it for about 2 weeks,
You tried
and it was like just a little too small.
it.
At least like, full time. If it was like, oh, I'm going to stay in a cabin, it would have been different. But to think
Mm.
about living there for a year was like, I can't do it. And then and then I was on the fence of what to do. And then I want to say it was mid or late October of last year, right after I bought the house, I got tapped to apply for a promotion. And that entire process took all the way until March.
Mm.
And as soon as I started in March, I was working 10 to 15 hours a week of overtime besides. So that whole time I did nothing on progressing anything.
Mm.
So I did an evaluation and said, do I do this remodel now that I know it's going to cost me more besides and everything, or what's the bigger goal? And the bigger goal is to get to the next property.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough call when your life's being consumed by that much work. I have to deal with that on a infrequent basis. My line of work, it's some weeks I'm working 50 to 55 hours, and then some weeks it's like 41, 42 hours, and it's so inconsistent.
Yeah, for me, it's been somewhere between 8 and 12 hours a week of overtime. And as it is, I do 411s. So then I wind up working half day Fridays like today.
I
We
wish I
had a
could do
huge,
4 days.
it's got its upsides, but we took in a big project, and ultimately today I should actually be getting the absolute last of it done. But it's the biggest project we've done internally in about 10 years. And so all of a sudden it was like, okay, you can go back to just working 411s. And then all of a sudden I find out, hey, we want to do a roundabout and you're going to do it. It's like, oh, okay. So we'll see how much more time I have, but all the more reason to get into the apartment. Because
Do
then
you work
with the
for
house,
the city, John?
yeah, for county, but yeah.
Okay, when you said roundabout, that made a lot of sense.
Yeah, I have to draw the roundabout, design it and
You're the
draw it.
design engineer.
I am the CAD designer. I
Yep.
am not technically an engineer, but I've
I
trained a
get it.
few.
I've worked for several transportation engineering companies as an intern. I was studying to be a transportation engineer
Hmm.
and didn't finish, but I know exactly what I'm talking about. It's basically you get an overinflated job title, and you're the jack of all trades too. So I've worked for the city as well, and I know that there were several guys that I worked for that took on multiple roles.
Yeah, I'm a jack. The new boss, because I got a new boss at the same time. I got tapped on the shoulder all at the same time, and he wanted to institute Scrum, which if you don't know what Scrum is, just nod your head and be like, "Oh, that's nice." And we didn't institute it the right way, but it was
Yeah.
that's another conversation. But it was so I'm actually the Scrum master in the process.
Lucky you.
Do you get overtime?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. Yes. So my um the promotion was a step. We had a cost of living at 7%. That was a step. And then that was from a previous promotion. Then this promotion was another big step. And it's still hourly. So yes, thank goodness, because I would not do this level if it
Right.
was salary, unless the salary was monstrously bigger than it is. So, but it's good.
You end up having to fight so much harder at salary too to get wage
Yeah.
increases.
Yeah, no, I'm on a really good path, especially compared to say 5 years ago. So I'm happy all the way around. But
How
You
long
got
you
a
in, John?
question, Troy?
Yeah, I was gonna
Let's
ask.
see.
Okay, okay, finish up, John. The question.
I'm 19 years in the system,
Okay, so
and I
you're.
got 4 more.
Yep. So yeah,
Yeah,
you're
and I'm gonna do it. I've got a pension, but I'm actually gonna convert.
nice. Yeah, as I say, you got that padding as a retirement, not that far
Yep.
down the road. So that's nice. Yeah, Lindsay. Basically, what I was curious about is I'm really interested in doing, dadoos. My local market, there's a huge opportunity to do it. It's just getting familiar with the permitting process, looking at the numbers and so forth. And I'm just north of like where Thatch is. I'm north of Seattle about an hour, but there's a community. It's an older community that has like tons of opportunity with it just because of how a lot of the properties are situated. There's a lot of them that have alleyways and separated garages and shops that can be easily converted into dadoos in that area, especially with what's going down the road. And that market, like the city, I've talked with the city officials, they actually are wanting to increase the amount of uh, occupants that live in their city jurisdiction within a the next 5 to 10 year plan. They're trying to increase from like they get somewhere around 12,000 people in population. They want to increase it all the way up to like 40,000.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a good opportunity to come in and maybe because there's a lot of older houses in that area that a lot of them were or are owned by just older people that are getting to that stage in their life to where they're having to move out of house and go into assisted living, or it could be a retirement communities, or go live with their children or something like that, where they're going to have that more close care with in a supervised adult. So there's opportunity to take over a lot of properties in the area as they come available. And you could pull off what like kind of like the Thatch model. My question for you is now that you've done your ADU, like how do you feel about doing the next one? Like, do you feel really confident in that the process, that you can make it maybe go smoother and quicker and be able to be more efficient with just going through the hurdles that you went so far?
Yeah, I think I feel definitely more competent, even in terms of design, because just through building, you're gonna learn a lot of the things that would make a space more functional. And I know that like you are marketing your data that you have are on Airbnb. So
Yep.
for us, it's like more being instead of I guess making it like most cost efficient is also about the most appealing layout, right? And the most
Yep.
appealing like and the finishes and all the time and all of the things. So I think like the going the route of pre-approved plans, it's great because it negates the whole fact of like permitting, which for me took 8 months, right? So reaching out to like any an actual architect that already has pre-approved plans it would be like where I would go first. But even
Perfect.
then, I would want something that stands out. Like my EU has bolted ceilings, right? And I
Yep.
see bolted ceilings, and for example, skylights are more appealing to like Airbnb, midterm rental, something like that that design looks appealing. So more so than just like building up what pre-approved plans you have from the city as opposed to like 500, 800 square feet, normal 8 feet, like ceiling types kind of things, or just two windows or one window per room. Like that's not as nicer. Like I take into consideration like things like where's the sunset set and when does it start in terms of lighting, because that's what brings more people or more customers. Because like I said, it's appealing business like to customers more so than make more ADUs that are just like cost efficient and like skimp of like laminate flooring and make everything white. You have to make it stand out. So that's yeah, I think it would be easier. Actually, like now that I did that, I'm like thinking like oh, well, I can definitely in a year or so buy another house and have what they doing down the street, like build something else in the backyard, right? And then more than one even at if you like split the lot like Tatch is saying, but definitely. And also I talked to who's his name? He's on the community, the landlord. He has his own community. He self-manages in Florida and he's like veteran. I forgot
Oh,
his
you're
name.
talking about
Veteran
Renee.
landlord.
Renee.
Whatever landlord, yeah. He did an EDU in Florida and he managed the whole thing himself. So he did not use a
Yeah.
contractor. He sectioned everything by trade. And even now I'm thinking like like now the gym is gone, he's like, you cannot absolutely do that. But learning about that, learning about like watching YouTube videos of like how much would it be like doing fooding or preparing the dirt of all of that, like section out the tray. So in reality, you skimped off that contractor's profit on top of the project. That could be doable. I'm interested in that. I don't think that is far-fetched by at all. So yes, I think I would definitely try to do it. I even talked to the city to see because I do have a lot of lawn on the front, like 1,000 square feet worth of
Oh,
lawn
wow.
in front of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then now it died because I put in order to connect the water, connect the sewage, I had to dig up all the dirt. And now since I digged up all the dirt in front of the house, the grass died, right? So now like,
Yeah.
do I regrass it? Do I put a driveway? And I'm like, can I put another ADU in there? So I called the city and then they said yes. But then I called two different architects to ask for pre-approved plans. And they said they cannot do it on the front of the house. So I'm going back and forth. We'll see what they're saying. There's a setback from the front of the house that you have to follow 25 feet, which I think is like a lot. So I'm not 100% sure
It
that
is a lot.
that's not doable.
Usually setbacks are 10 feet. For structures, it depends. So sometimes they have setbacks from the center line, and John knows this too. So there's the fog line of the roadway, or at the edge of if you have like sidewalks. So from the edge of the sidewalks, there's the city has jurisdiction to where it's they can have a buffer, and usually some of it's set way off. It's like I live off a state highway and they have like an 80-foot like buffer from center line. I'm like, that's insane. And the only reason why they do that is simply because if that's considered the state's right of way. They basically state that if you build a structure within that threshold, that you potentially could be at risk of having it to be removed. So they may question what the structure is, and if they're willing to accept it for whatever it is being built. And honestly, like my situation, that's only if they were to like take a state highway and add 3 more lanes to it, and then you still have your setbacks off of that. Well, in my situation where it's at, they never expand the highway because there's a freeway not that far away, and there's no need for them to create a 5-lane roadway in that area there, because there would never be conditions that would present that in order to happen. So it's just getting familiar with what the setbacks are and why they are. And then from there, it's understanding like what's your limitation. So if you only have like a 20-foot setback from the edge of the road, where is that at? And then from there, like, what are their, because some properties,
Cutting up.
I know in like our county, but also to occupy a maximum percentage of the square feet of the property. I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
You're cutting in and out.
Yeah.
So if I could chime in,
Yeah, okay, good. So what happened? You gotta be
Our signal is gone.
So in my area, 25-foot setback from the right-of-way line is actually fairly common.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, that's what's on my house. But usually you have a front setback that goes to the front of the actual structure of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then you usually will have a side setback on the right and the left. Those are usually the same if it's not a corner lot. And then you'll have a rear setback. Usually the side setbacks are your smallest. The rear is a little bit bigger, and then the front is a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Some municipalities will do it off center lines. In Florida, generally, it's off the actual property line. The
Yeah.
challenge you might have with someone who's trying to look at doing the structure is if it's in the front yard, then the new building that you're putting in would need to technically be the front building. And if it's smaller than the house behind it, there may be rules about the size of the one in the back has to be smaller. So you have it like a primary house and a secondary, and the secondary can't be bigger than the primary. So like you
Mm-hmm.
can't buy a 800 square foot house and then build an ADU that's 2,000 square feet behind it, kind of thing. You're changing the use of it. So there could be some overlap between that, especially what jurisdiction are you in for that?
LA County.
What county?
LA, Los Angeles.
Oh. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know that much about, I
Yeah,
don't know anything about California,
the
but
discrepancy is that the city said it was
Hey,
okay.
how
but
you doing?
Their
How
architects
was
are
your night?
saying
They
no.
got some traffic up here.
Hey, Value, Matt, your mic's on, buddy.
Sorry.
Yeah, the city saying is totally fine, but the architects are saying no. So I'm like, do I need to call back to the city?
so
And then
did you propose it as a detached in front of the house or a part of
yeah,
it as an attached?
detach, not attach.
I think if you got that in writing or in an email acknowledgement
Right.
from the city,
That's what I'm gonna try to get back on them to see. Like, you need to provide some kind of writing so I can bring it out to an engineer. And I'm like, so I don't know, but maybe it's not. Maybe they're wrong. Maybe whoever I talk to, you know how you talk to the city, they say one thing and they talk to somebody else, they say another thing. So
always, yeah.
so I'm going to have to go back and to talk to them and then have them point me to the code or point me to something that's in writing for sure.
You've already done a ADU on the property once already, correct?
Detach ADU in the back.
Okay, so you should have somewhere in the documents, you have a plan that shows the lot plan. That should show setbacks because you would have had to have shown the setbacks to be able to cite the one in the backyard.
I'll
So
look
that's,
at that.
you probably have that on there somewhere where it would reference those setbacks.
Mm-hmm. But then I'm like, I'm in a corner lot, right? Let's say there is a 25 feet setback on the front of the house. Let's say I cannot do it.
Is this for just
Sorry. You're cutting in and out again, Troy. But my house is a corner lot, so my front of the house is technically X Street, but my door faces Y Street. So I'm like I'm talking about like a workaround solution. Can I change the address of my house to have the front on Y Street, and now therefore that becomes the side street? The space on the X?
That in my world, for starters, the address of the house dictates the road that dictates the frontage. So if you're on a corner lot and your house is addressed off of one particular road, that's technically your front yard. The other yard on a corner lot, I'm on a corner lot myself, actually.
Yeah.
The other yard is they have a kind of like a special case setback for what that is. If you're trying to change the address of the primary house by building an ADU on what feels like the front yard, even though it's the side yard, that could be a conversation that you have with E911, at least in my world, where you would talk to them about the fact that you want to add an ADU and that's going to readdress the property.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have a lot of say and a lot of rules about the way in which they do that to make sure that emergency services can get to you. So if you've got a house that looks like it fronts one street, but it's actually addressed off of the other street, that might be a differential between why the city says yes and the architect says no.
Right. So that's why I don't know. That's why I'm in this limbo, but I know I have to go back and talk to the city again. So, but we'll see.
Another thing to consider is when you're possibly doing that is they may require you to put a sidewalk in and a driveway pad if you're going to add another address too. So that's something to take in consideration.
That's fine. I was gonna do that anyways because I lost a space in front of the garage. So listen,
I was
if I
going to
have two
say before
ADUs in my LA property, I can totally offset my mortgage. So that would be amazing for me.
Lost my headset. Anyways, I was just gonna say, why don't you reach out to a concrete company that might do a lot of work for residentials? They might understand those codes and regulations that might be able to help you with saying it's what the process would look like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know the breaking into the sidewalk will be at least $10,000 out here in California. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated what I find out. I don't even have the money to build an additional ADU. So I'm like just speculating hypotheticals. I just think it would be easier since I've done it already. And it would be more cost effective because I would take on the project manager contractor role because I'm crazy like that. But we'll see. I don't even know if it's possible.
Just have Jim come down and help you.
Jim is like overworked.
He needs one
Yeah,
more
but
project.
and
Can you
he's
come
not
on,
here, so we
Frederick?
could volunteer him.
I'll have Frank. Frank seems
I'll-
like he knows more work balance.
I'll just send him a text message. He's got another job.
Okay. Well, guys, I have to hop off, but it was nice talking. I'll see you next week, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks, Lindsay.
Bye.